Most people stay broke, not from lack of income, but from lack of order. We're halfway through 2025. Most people are still spending more than they earn. They work hard, but they're falling behind. Meanwhile, a smaller group is quietly strengthening their financial future. Not with luck, not with huge paychecks, but through repeatable, disciplined habits. The difference isn't income, it's behavior. The broke are waiting for next month to be better. The disciplined are building systems today. That's the divide. This video breaks down the 7 habits that separate the two. Each one is practical. Each one is proven. Each one can be implemented now, even if you're in debt, even if your income is low. Because financial change doesn't start with a raise. It starts with responsibility. And at the end of this video, I'll share a process you can start tomorrow that makes all of this real, no guesswork. If this already shifted how you think, like this video now, and keep going. Habit 1. Responsibility. Yes, freedom. Ever wonder why two people with the same income live completely different financial lives? One builds savings, the other lives paycheck to paycheck. Same job, same hours, same country, different result. The difference isn't income, it's ownership. If you earn a basic income and live in a free society, you already have enough to start building. The problem is what you do with it. Most people don't have money problems, they have habit problems. At 25, I was broke. Not because I didn't earn, but because I didn't manage. I knew people earning less than me with more peace of mind. They had savings, I had stress. That was the moment I realized the issue isn't money, it's method. That's when I met the man who would become my mentor. He said, "Jim, never think money comes to you from the outside. It's born inside you. It's the result of discipline, not luck." That single sentence reset my direction. I stopped blaming. I started tracking. And I saw the truth: my financial life had no structure, no habits, no plan, just hope. But hope doesn't pay bills. Discipline does. I started learning. I read. I asked questions. I started saying no. I began treating money as a process, not a prize. Here's what I found. Your financial habits are a mirror. If you spend impulsively, you believe in escape, not stability. If you don't save, you don't believe in the future. If you don't plan, you're gambling. That's why financial success has almost nothing to do with what you have and everything to do with who you're becoming. In a world of inflation and distraction, that mindset matters even more. The old tricks don't work anymore, but the fundamentals still do. Discipline, clarity, responsibility. So before we go any further, eliminate every excuse. I don't have time, I'm in debt, I can't start yet. Those thoughts are why you're stuck. Here's the deal. You listen with full attention. I give you everything I know. Not theory, not quotes. Just what I've used. What works. From zero. For real. Because success isn't what you get. It's who you become. And who you become starts now. Habit 2. Conscious spending. You can't control what you don't track. Most people don't have an income problem. They have a leakage problem. They say, "I just need to earn more." But even when they do, the money disappears. Why? Because they never learn to spend with awareness. They don't know where their money goes. They don't measure, so they can't control. The moment I tracked every expense for one full month, I realized the problem wasn't coffee. It wasn't restaurants. It was how much I spent on things that gave me nothing in return. No growth, no return, no purpose. That's when it clicked. Spending is not neutral, it's directional. It tells you who you're becoming. If your spending is emotional, you're buying relief, not building a future. If your spending is intentional, you're funding priorities. Here's one habit that will shift your path. Track every transaction for 30 days. Not just categories, names, dates, why. Make your behavior visible. Because once you see your patterns, you can start changing them. Your wallet tells the truth, even when you don't want to hear it. Move forward by facing it. Habit 3. Pay yourself. First, if you don't value your future won't value you. Everyone's heard this phrase, pay yourself first. Almost no one actually does it. They say they will save, after rent, after bills, after fun. But by then, there's nothing left. That's not a savings plan. That's leftovers. Real saving starts before spending. You earn then, you set aside minimum 10%. Automatically, non-negotiable. It's not about the amount. It's about the message my future matters more than my impulse. This habit isn't about money, it's about priority. The moment you practice it, you're sending a signal. You're not here to consume. You're here to build. Here's the shift. Set up an auto transfer. Day your income arrives, 10% moves to a separate account. No delay, no decision, no access. Do that for 6 months, and your identity starts to change. Because now you're someone who invests in yourself. That's not luck, that's character. Habit 4. Budget with clarity. Winging it is not a financial strategy. Most people don't have a plan. They just hope. They estimate vaguely. And then they wonder why they're always behind. Hope isn't a financial tool. A budget is. And no, it's not about color-coded spreadsheets. It's about control. Start simple fixed expenses. Variable costs. Write it down. See the number. Here's the test. If you're spending 95% of your income, you're surviving. 80% still dangerous. 60% or less, now you're building margin. Without a clear budget, you're gambling. And the house always wins. Make this shift. Every month before spending, map your flow. Know where each dollar is going before it leaves. Clarity is the edge. Use it. Habit 5. Avoid consumer debt traps. If it doesn't grow, it's a trap. Not all debt is bad, but most consumer debt is lethal. It doesn't buy freedom. It rents a lifestyle. Imagine this. You buy a phone on a 12-month plan. In 6 months, it's outdated. But you'll still be paying. That's not progress. That's financial slavery. Discipline means this. You only borrow for assets. Things that grow. Things that pay back. Everything else you wait or you don't buy. Draw a hard line. No payments for distractions. No borrowing for emotion. Use this rule. If it doesn't pay you, it owns you. And you don't work this hard to be owned. Habit 6. Build new income streams. In 2025, one income stream is no longer security. It's a risk. Markets shift. Companies downsize. Even the most stable job is just a temporary agreement. If your income comes from one place, your freedom can be taken with one decision, and it won't be yours. That's why the 6th habit is non-negotiable: build multiple income streams. In the 1960s, someone asked me, "Jim, aren't you afraid of losing your money?" I told them, I'm not afraid of losing money. I'm afraid of losing discipline. Because discipline built everything I had. Income, clients, investments, ownership, not luck, not timing, discipline. You don't need to be a genius. You need to shift identity from employee to creator. Freelance, consult, invest, sell, build. There are more tools today than ever before. Most people just never start. They wait for the perfect time. It never comes. The ones who move, they don't wait. They build in motion. Try this list. 3 ways you could earn $100 outside your main job. Pick one. Test it within 7 days. Don't overthink. Just try. You're not trying to replace income. You're learning how to build it. It's not about the extra money. It's about the mindset that says, I don't depend on one source. I generate value. And when that belief locks in, security stops being a wish. It becomes your design. Habit 7. Money with a mission. Money is a tool. Use it, or it will use you. The hardest part isn't making money. It's not losing yourself once you do. You can build income. You can build savings. You can build assets. But if you don't build alignment, you'll still feel empty. That's why the 7th habit is non-negotiable. Use money in service of your values. If money becomes the goal, you'll chase endlessly. But if money serves a mission, you stay grounded. You stay clear. You stay whole. There were times I was offered high-paying projects, but the price was my integrity. And I said no. Why? Because quick profit isn't worth long-term regret. Because respect for self is worth more than any deal. People remember that. They trust it, they follow it, and that trust becomes influence, which outlasts income. A man once asked me, if you could give your children one piece of financial advice, what would it be? I said, don't let money control you. You're not its servant, you're its master. That's not just financial advice. That's how you live with strength. So ask yourself this, what do I believe in? And does my spending reflect it? Does my work reflect it? Does my growth align with it? Because if not, no amount will ever feel like enough. The final mindset shift is this. Financial success isn't just about new habits. It's about becoming a different person. Success follows clarity, discipline, character, vision. When you become the person who earns, wisely spends, intentionally, saves automatically, and lives in alignment, you don't need to chase opportunity. It shows up, and it stays. Self-check. Which habit do you lack? You can't improve what you won't measure. Now it's your turn. Information is nothing without implementation. So we switch from teaching to tracking. This is a 5-question self-check. Answer fast. Don't overthink. Score yourself from 1 to 10. 1 means the habit is weak or missing. 10 means it's strong and consistent. Question 1. How regularly do you save regardless of income? Saving is a seed. No seed, no harvest. If you haven't saved in a year, give yourself a 1. If you save monthly automatically, without fail, that's a 10. Rate it now. Question 2. How precisely do you know your expenses to the dollar? A budget is your map. Without it, you're wandering. If you don't know what you spend on food, rent, transport, or subscriptions, you're flying blind. If you track weekly and adjust monthly, that's a 10. What's your number? Question 3. Does your spending reflect your values? This is depth, not data. Do you invest in what matters? Or are you reacting to ads, pressure, and emotion? If your purchases often bring guilt, score it low. If every dollar moves with intention and you feel peace after spending, that's a 10. Be honest. What's your score? Question 4. How actively are you developing new skills to increase income? Wealth comes from solving higher value problems. If you're not learning, you're stalling. If you can't remember the last time you studied something to grow, give yourself a 1. If you have a learning schedule and build your value monthly, that's a 10. Mark it down. Question 5. How comfortable are you discussing money calmly, clearly, directly? Money reflects mindset. Avoidance is a sign of fear. If you panic, shut down, or avoid financial conversations, score it low. If you can plan, ask, and make decisions without shame, that's a 10. Where are you? Now pause. Look at your 5 numbers. They're not judgments. They're direction markers. They show you where to start. Here's your action. Write them down. Then for each habit, write 1 small step that could move that score up by just 1 point next week. Not a leap a step. Because improvement isn't a transformation. It's a process. 1 move, 1 change, 1 habit, repeated. And if you're still here, you already have the rarest trait, attention. Most people spend it on noise. You're spending it on growth. So here's a final question, not for a score, for your future. What happens if you don't change? Picture it, 1 year from now. Same habits, same stress, same bank account. Are you okay with that? If not, this is your moment. Write in the comments, which habit are you starting with? Not for me, for you. That public statement is your anchor. It doubles the chance you'll follow through. Hit like if this gave you even 1 shift. Subscribe if you want clear, honest systems that move you forward. And turn on the bell if you're ready to stop reacting and start building. Don't just earn, let's build. It's not money that makes you free. It's the discipline that produces it. We've covered the habits. We've looked at the mirror. Now we close the loop. Here's the truth. You can have the best ideas, the best education, and the best tools. But without action, without structure, without habit, you'll stay exactly where you are. Success is not a moment. It's not a miracle. It's a result. A result of what you think, of what you do, of what you repeat. And by now, If you've made it this far, you're already different than the version of you who started. You listened, you questioned, you measured. That's not passive, that's momentum. But now comes the real decision. What do you do next? Because here's the final truth. Either you build your habits, or your habits build your future for you. Either you choose your systems, or your systems run on autopilot with consequences. Both are choices. Only one leads to dignity, clarity, and peace. Remember, this success is not what you get. It's who you become. And if you become better every day, even by 1%, success will eventually show up. Not as a surprise, but as confirmation. You'll stop chasing. It will find you. Not because you were lucky, but because you were ready. So thank you for showing up, for thinking seriously, for not wasting time. Let this be a beginning, not a finish line. 2025 isn't over, but what it becomes is up to you. You don't need motivation, you need motion, and it starts now. If this topic matters to you and you don't want to miss what's next, subscribe now.